Inside the very nicely designed box, you are going to find some paperwork, and underneath that you're going to find the mouse itself. And then followed by that, you are going to get one of the cleanest and nicest looking 4K dongles that I have ever seen. And then of course, you're also going to get your USB-C charging cable. And then inside the little goodie bag, it is going to come with a couple stickers, a couple of grips, and a couple of skates, which I do not recommend using as they are very scratchy and not the best feeling. The switches in this mouse are going to be the TTC Gold switches, and they do feel really nice and tactile. The MCU is going to be the Nordic N52840, which does support polling rate up to 4000 Hz, and then combining that with the 800 mAh battery, you are getting around a week of battery life. And the included dongle, like I said, does support 4000 Hz. And the overall price for the whole package is going to be $70 on MechKeys. Software for this mouse is actually going to be pretty nice, especially since it does have a English option as well as a Chinese and Japanese option. Inside the software, you do have all your basic controls such as motion sync, ripple control, angle snapping, your sleep time. You do have the option to set your polling rate. It does go from 125 all the way up to 4000 Hz. You can set your liftoff distance, and of course you can set your debounce time. I actually don't recommend using 0ms as I did have a ton of issues with the actual clicks registering at times. Of course, you can also set up your key bindings, all of your macros if you really need that, and of course you can set up your DPI, and of course if you really want RGB, you do have the option of turning it on. So how's the quality going to be on a mouse that is $70 and from a brand you probably never even heard of, and it's just going to be alright? It's probably what you would expect when it comes to the quality coming from a $70 mouse. For example, the sides do have a fair bit of actual flex and play in general, but other than that, the mouse is going to be super solid, pretty much no post or pre-travel to the side buttons at all, and the actual main clicks are also going to be pretty nice, really no pre-travel or post-travel at all, and they are pretty tactile. And with the TTC Gold, they do feel really nice. The performance on this mouse is also very well done. The 3395 feels exactly like it should be, and combining that with the 4000 Hz polling rate, the mouse just felt really snappy and fluid in game. The only thing I have to complain about when it comes to the actual performance is if you do set the main clicks to 0ms debounce time, and if you do hold for a extended period of time, for example you hold down the left click for an extended period of time, the main click will actually just stop registering. So if you are holding down the button, in a couple of milliseconds it'll just stop registering, which I don't know if this is just a issue on my unit or an issue with their software or just something in general, but 0ms debounce time on this mouse isn't really going to be the best. So what are my honest opinions about this mouse? I do want to enjoy it, but I do wish there was a slightly smaller version of this mouse. Darmoshark does make a M3S, but the shape of that mouse isn't really the same as this mouse. If this mouse was just a slightly smaller Air 58 with the same internals like the 4K, the 3395 sensor, 4000 Hz polling rate, just everything upgraded over the Air 58, then this would be the mouse for me. But just because of the large and huge size that isn't really catered for smaller hands, this is a mouse that I'm not going to really recommend for anyone with small to medium hands. If you do have large hands, and I mean like large hands, then this will be the mouse for you. Other than that, I do think Darmoshark is doing just a great job in general when it comes to these new mice. Especially with this one, the quality is pretty great for a brand that I have really never heard of, and it is nice to see new and just upcoming brands coming just out of nowhere, releasing really nice products with just a lot of variety like this. This is a Air 58. We haven't really seen that much Air 58 clones in general. So would I recommend this mouse? And that's going to be a maybe. If you do have small to medium hands and mostly fingertip grip or claw grip, then this will probably not be the mouse for you, especially if you do come into the smaller type of hand size. If you do have large hands and you use the Air 58 and you absolutely love the mouse and it worked perfectly for you, then this will probably be the mouse for you, and I don't really see you picking up anything else if you did already like the Air 58.